All right, let me see. First up, what UX research issues are currently in progress? I have a small update about mine. Recruiting has been started for A/B testing. The idea is to do all the sessions in the next 2 weeks. Additionally, I reached out to the growth team to interview them as well. I was brought on this idea by Kevin, who is one of the growth team product designers. And we had a little time together in Indonesia, so it was cool to be able to speak with him again about this potentially. So I was wondering if you have any thoughts towards, like bias internally, how useful that feedback is going to be versus external participants, etc.
I actually think that I wouldn't mind to do only internal. I mean, external is great because it's another perspective, but since we're building the feature for the entire population, and it currently doesn't exist, and we're going to start with dogfooding anyway, I think it's smartest to understand their needs and build it accordingly, because probably what they need is what the community needs as well. Maybe it doesn't fit every use case, but it definitely fits some. So I think talking to growth is great.
Is there specific people or specific roles you want me to talk to in specific, like I'm going to consider like as the personas as we've detailed them, but perhaps you have additional thoughts around
that. We spoke to a few people already, so we just need to find them in the issues and just reach out to them. It's actually, A/B testing is really unique in the sense that it's not a DevOps engineer per se. Anyone on the team can basically do the experiments. So even like the PMs were using it, and the developers, of course. So, any persona would do here.
Cool. Lori, what is your idea about testing internally versus external here?
Well, I think internal is a must. Like, let's talk to our folks and see how they're doing it. But I'd also like to give a shot to see if we can find anybody externally to talk to, because they may have different situations going on.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. Then I'll move forward with interviewing internally. I think I can set it up a little bit sooner than getting the recruitment participants scheduled in meetings with me, which should happen somewhere next week at the earliest. And then I've reached out already to the growth team, so I'll probably get some recommendations to speak out with. The idea I had is to speak at least with like 4 to 5 people internally, or do you think there might be, you need like at least some more, because we have so many different personas that could make use of this feature?
I don't know. I think a good place to reach out to interviewers is the feature flag channel. To see if anyone wants to participate.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Because the fulfillment team is already using our feature flag, so that also may be an interesting use case. Even though for growth, A/B testing is more suitable.
Yeah, thanks. On to your point, Ori.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago when we spoke, I kind of completed everyone we had on the list for the recruitment for post monitoring. And there were 2 interviewees that I wasn't very happy with, so I wanted to replace them. And we got 3 new respondents. So one of them I interviewed last week and it was great. And then there was 2 more. One I wasn't really excited about his profile, so I skipped him. And there was another one that I invited. But there was no response. So I'm gonna give it a few more days, and then I'm just gonna close the issue out, I think.
Yeah, I think that's okay, Ori. What I've done in the past is just made a note in the issue to say I only talk to X amount of people, be aware of that. So just moving forward, just know that I only talked to 3 instead of 5. So there should be.
Well, actually, I went over, so it's okay.
Oh, then you're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Cool. Thanks for that. That seems in a good place. So with that in mind, let me see. We'll get back to that later because that is kind of targeted or linked towards the Think Big session. But before we get to that, some other points in between. There's the request from Verify in release UX department to push forward the issue around the merge request recommendations. Do I have it correct, Nadia, that like we want all of those issues to be ready for development to start working on, to be weighted, and to be scheduled ideally? But I would love for you to add context here.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing this up. This is something that's connected to the OKR that we are having around improvements, merge requests in GitLab. And the expectations are here actually like that by 13th of June, or like, we should be aligned with the engineering and product management on which items we can prioritize for Q2, right? So that could be 13.2, 13.3 milestones. And my expectations here is like, if we would say 2 to 4 to 5, that would be perfect. If we feel like, okay, we can prioritize those, but for example, 13.4 looks more realistic, that could be fine as well. I guess that means the earlier we prioritize it, the more like designs proposals have to be in. But yeah, that's also not a serious requirement, especially if we say that's at 13.3 or 13.4 or whatever. So yeah,
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The issues that we prioritized, which, we chose them from the whole list, don't seem like that there's such a great improvement to the merge request widget. I mean, they're nice to haves, but it doesn't seem like that's going to make such a big difference in terms of the user experience. So 13.2 planning is already done. So the only next place that we could probably put it in is 13.3. And the question is how much effort do we want to do? Because really, I don't think this is like something that's going to change the world of the users.
Fair point. And my counter question to that is, how did we prioritize that? I know that you had run a nice exercise there, and I mean, if we would say that, hey, this seems to be a minor improvement or something, well, fair enough. Like, of course, the whole point of that would be to contribute to the improvement of the user experience on MR. So like, if we say, yeah, if that helps us to cover at least certain part of the users, for example, like review app links is not are not shown, that sounds like quite a problem. I'm not sure how download artifact on the MR widget is important to users or not, etc., etc. So again, this is your and Dimitri's call. Our goal is here to help out to make the MRs a bit better, because we've seen all with the MR sales investigation how lacky experiences.
I think.
And then sorry, Dimitri. Yeah, just one more thing. Like, this week, someone opened up an issue that's not on the list that seemed really relevant to this, and I had tagged Dimitri, and I was like, maybe we should add it to this epic. So, things change. I'm not sure, like, how strict we need to be on this list.
Well, that sounds like a good point. I mean, at this point, it doesn't sound like we have anything prioritized. Again, I would be flexible here to make sure. Look, for example, like today I'm communicating with Christy about what we have prioritized today. It's a little list. I would actually expect more, but hey, again, it's about the result and not about the quantity necessarily. So if you would say, Ori, that there is an item that makes much more sense, let's just drop one of these 3 and say, hey, let's prioritize the other one. If you say that that's 13.3, that's fine. I would, as I said, even 13.4 would be kind of like, okay, as soon as, we have the attention to that. I'm not sure, Dimitri, if you agree with me, but that's according to my biggest point here is to get attention to those and to have some kind of a commitment that, we're gonna work and help dev create a stage to improve this.
Yeah, I think it's important to see those issues not in the context of the whole GitLab, but in the context of what the OKR tries to complete, right? We're trying to like make the experience of the merge request lovable. Small improvements help there equally as large ones. I am not saying that the ones that we prioritize based on our exercise are the only ones that fit that, you know, objective. If we find one, you know, afterwards, as you suggested, that better fits that theme than the ones that we exercised with, then let's prioritize those amongst those, right? Like I do not see that we should block any of that. However, I would like to say let's look at this within the context of the OKR and not the whole application.
Yeah. I also want to get points for things that we already completed before this epic was created.
Oh,
So
well,
we
if you have that, so I'm working around this right now, right? So if you have anything like that was recently, I'm not saying about like 3 milestones ago, but if we have something
like
that was
12.9 or 12.8, I think we had a really, really great improvement that I worked with the delivery team on, and they did it for the progressive delivery group. It was really awesome. They managed to mark when actual deployment happened for an MR, which was missing, which is like really cool.
And when was that?
I'll get it out because they're still like doing follow-up issues on it.
that would be amazing to see. Yeah, and yeah, definitely if that's something that would be fitting this theme, which seems to be, I can communicate it as well together. Yeah, anyway, I love this attitude of like you know, trying to be helpful. I understand that you have a lot of other things, but yeah, like, you know, if like we have this funny saying in Russian, if you collect I don't know, it's hard to translate, like piece by piece you collect from people, like there is a whole thing for the whole world. Anyway, it doesn't sound that dramatic as it sounds in Russian, but I really appreciate everyone pushing it forward. And you know, if you would say already, hey, like there are only 2 items that I think could be really beneficial for MRs, and we can prioritize that for 13.3. Perfect. I mean, good enough.
Yeah.
So what are our next steps here? How do we, like, where is that issue, Orit? Can you add it here, like the force? And how do we move forward with that?
There's actually 2. Here's a really nice one that was in 12.9, which is should count. 12.9 should count. It's track cherry pick deployments. That was in 12.9. Sorry. Let me add it here.
And you mentioned also something just came up yesterday or this week that you think is more important than the issues that we have on the list.
Yeah, I need to find.
What was that? Sorry. I need to find it. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So what are our next steps here? Oops, on this, you know, how do we cherry pick from this? You know, like just for me to understand where we're going with that. Was prioritizing some of these issues that we have, or talking about that.
To be realistic, I think only one issue will make 13.3. It's a pretty loaded milestone.
And do we know which one will that be already?
It should be something that's ready for dev and weighted already. So I think that will be the criteria.
So are there, let me see.
Do we have the planning? We should have the planning for 13.3 already up there. Yeah. So maybe
I
if we
also worked on it today.
Yeah, the review app links, even though that is the, let me see, which one was that, the one that we put at highest, or? Yeah, I think so. Review app links are not shown in the merge request widget for non-members. That one is weighted and should be ready for development. So I propose that we push forward that issue into 13.3, ideally soon.
All right, well, I propose we can continue this in the planning 13.3 issue. Maybe we should add this one directly, Dimitri, as a proposal. Dimitri,
Yeah.
if you could help me drive this forward, that would be amazing. Let me know where I could support here. And yeah, as I said, as if whatever, yeah, if we get 1, 2 items, that would be already something.
Sounds good. And Orit, what was the other issue you were talking about that
I don't know. It's probably in your to-do list. I don't remember it by heart.
I'll look into that issue as well.
There's no way for me to look for a comment that I added.
You can in your personal profile.
How? It's not in the email.
No, no.
I need to look back for a week. I'm not gonna go
I never
load
said-
more.
I never said it was efficient. I only said it could.
It's easier for you to check your email.
I don't work with emails. I only work with to-dos, but I'll check my to-dos, no problem. I will probably find it in like 5 minutes. Let's go on to the next one. Let me see. Preparing the Think Big session, which is related to your post-deployment monitoring, which is scheduled for next week, as far as I know. Ideally, in order to best fuel this this Think Big session, I've proposed in the past, like, hey, let me look up some whiteboarding exercise. And when I started to look into it's ideally that we know exactly what the goal is of this Think Big session, because otherwise it's not gonna align well with what we wanna get out of it. So the question here is, you've scheduled this Think Big session. What is the exact goal you have with this session?
So the idea is present the idea of post-deployment monitoring as a high-level picture to discuss what we're trying to gain and what the users are going to benefit from it. Talk a little bit about the user interviews that I have done, and to talk about a little bit of cross collaboration that I've talked to other stages of what can be done on this issue, you know, past the MVC. And if we have time, we can talk about what's the current iteration plan. And the idea is that people, after I present this, or, you know, when I present this, can chip in and say what they think, or raise some questions or ideas and things like that.
Because like one of the, like I've had one exercise specific in mind that might fit this larger picture, and that is the opportunity solution tree, which kind of connects our opportunities with any potential ideas that we have. And as you have done like, you know, we've done our, like you've done your homework with the validation process. So we have our opportunities clear, our insights we have at the ready. And where I think it would be very helpful for us to do this whiteboarding exercise is we can display all those insights next to each other and then start to solutionize a little bit, or at least get ideas going with the team. But then we need to connect them to the solution, because often what we'll find is that some of the ideas that we come up with will not be tied to any of the insights we have, and that's kind of like the thing that I want to prevent. So as I think that kind of goes into your point. It's like discuss what users want from it, right? Like,
yep. Sure, I'm open to doing a whiteboard session. It would be interesting. I've never done one, but you know, we can do this together. It sounds exciting.
Cool. Yeah, ideally for this session, and I was wondering what Nadia and Lori think about this exercise fitting the things that Orit has says, is that ideally it has an overarching desired outcome. So the desired outcome is X, then we have the opportunities that align with that desired outcome. And out of those desired opportunities, you will have the ideas that eventually lead to the implementation issues.
Yeah, I think from what I'm hearing, I actually, by the way, I really love the using whiteboards for that, exactly to make it visual and like we've been doing it in other stage groups, like to this for different purposes, and it always like unites everyone. So I really like that proposal. That's one. Second of all, for the goal, I think it sounds where Reed is going. It's more kind of like, hey, discuss all of the like data that we have right now and maybe like find out the issues that we want to focus on and maybe then prioritize them. I know it sounds like about problem opening, this like double diamond exercise, Dimitri. So it sounds like we're going to be like going wide and maybe at the end we can go narrow again. So like we will talk about, hey, what are all of those things that we hear? What are all of those needs that users have told us about? Like, okay, what is it all that we know we need to focus on? And then maybe if we have time in that session, maybe we schedule a separate session where we would, from that wide range, we would go back to the narrow again. Okay, what are those like first things we need to start with? Kind of like, will it be a prioritization or voting? I don't know. So we go from this to that back again, and then we can go again from that, kind of like, again, this double diamond
So
technique.
if I get you correctly, the solution tree, solution opportunity tree is more of an exercise to converge rather than diverge, right? That's what you're saying.
The opportunity tree, what do you mean?
Yeah, like the exercise I had in mind, I think it is about, getting the things converged towards where we eventually want to be rather than diverging and getting us towards, the idea. Like, I think it's perfectly fine to do it the way you said, like have a discussion with engineering in the Think Big session, generate loads of ideas, and then we have a different separate discussion around, all right, let's tie these ideas towards the individual opportunities, and in that way make a prioritization for which ones are actually worthwhile to be implemented.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure which exactly method or exercise you are talking about, but it seems like we understood each other, Dimitri, and I'm just dropping one of the links about the double diamonds here. There are tons of them.
Yeah, I'll what I'll do, I'll set up like the whiteboard for us to collect the ideas in, and the idea is just to get everybody on there, and then if everybody has their ideas, like we just jot them down, and etc. And then we can work with those ideas on different sticky notes in the follow-up session after that. Sounds good?
Yeah, it's better than the message that I just got that fifth grade is going to go back to remote learning.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you. But I still have two. We'll see when they close down that.
It's okay. The fifth grader will be in college by the time she has to go back to school anyway. So even though it's like sixth grade next year, she'll be at college level.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next point, and that is for, thanks for including me on this direction merge request. I was thinking as I saw this message on Slack that they've added this nice thing in the handbook as to who are DRIs for this specific direction page. You can add like code owners basically. So I was wondering, might it make sense to include, of course, product management, but also product design and indeed technical writing as DRIs for those pages, so that we're aligned on, hey, these people kind of push forward these direction pages.
I don't think we need to change anything. I think you can just go in and, add suggestions. The direction page is basically my vision, so I don't want people changing it without me going through their suggestions. But I definitely encourage you to go in and suggest whatever you want to change. I think this is more of a joint collaboration. Nothing painful between the both of us. But at the end of the day, I think there's only one DRI. So I'd like to review any changes before.
Yeah, like I'm not suggesting that product management shouldn't be pushing. It's more like who has eyes on this page. I think that is what is what is being done there with the code owners. I thought it
Yeah,
would
so
be.
I think
as a
I think
reminder.
like anything in GitLab, let's iterate since up until now, no UX designer actually was on that page at all. And now, I invited you to join. So let's see how that goes. And then we can think about how to improve the process. So let's do it slowly.
Sounds good. Then that's it for this meeting. Thank you so much.
Wait, I also added if we should invite Marcel, because it looks like he's the technical writer and not Susan. So maybe we need to switch the invite.
That's a great point. I didn't know which Marcel you meant. I was thinking about the dev create UX manager. But yeah.
Marcel is on the invite. He just hasn't reacted yet. Or he has reacted with maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we should reach out to him directly and ask, hey, what do you think about joining these sessions? Because yeah, it would be nice to have like a bit more, how to say, roles in the call.
Yeah, I wonder if he could join like every other one or something, because I know he's spread thin and he's in Japan as well, I think. So yeah.
Is he in Japan? He was like on all day with me yesterday. I was like, I think this Japan is alive. It was like in the middle of the night.
What did the sun look like in the sky behind him?
Well, we were slacking, so I don't know, but like it was really, I worked like a 16-hour day yesterday and he was on the whole time with me.
Oh, wow.
All right. Yeah, I'll reach out to him and then we can get him to potentially join the next meetings.
Great.
All right.
Dimitri, can we take a 10-minute break before our next call?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers. Just join the meeting whenever
Bye.
you're ready.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.